Hello, I am Cody Dunlap, and this is my Module 13 case study, A Good Teacher Turns Bad. In this study, Mrs. Wilson is the administrator, and she's faced with an interesting problem in that one of her teachers, which has had some success and been the teacher of the year in their district, experiencing some problems at home, and is bringing that into the workplace, is berating children and being, verbally abusive. And Mrs. Wilson is taking action to try to rectify the situation. So my problem, identification and analysis. The problem is that we have an educator that's not meeting professional expectations. Okay, we know that this is taking place in a rural setting. This is Crestview Elementary. Mrs. Wilson is the principal. She's been in the profession about 3 years, or as an administrator, I'm sorry. And Mrs. Horton is a former teacher of the year. But now, like we said, there's turmoil at home, and she's having trouble bridging the gap between work and home, and she's bringing it in. What I need to know: have there been any prior conversations between the principal and Mrs. Horton? Have they had conversations at all about how this is going, what's happening, whether they be professional conversations or personal conversations? If this is a male educator, I want to sit down with them and have a personal conversation if possible, not to pry too much, but just to talk. They were supposed to pilot a new reading program, and Mrs. Horton was not on board, and that's when they started to see some lashing out. So trying to dig in and find out why. Why did she not want to pilot this? Was it just something new? Was she not comfortable with the curriculum? And then does the district have any professional development policies already in place for this type of situation? My proposed plan, I get a conference and collaborate with the teacher. We have to sit down and really talk about what's happening and how we're going to fix it. I propose an improvement plan for the teacher, to provide any kind of support possible, whether it be from the counselor, it be a social support or a human resources officer, or if there's some professional development that whether it be like a workshop or a conference, and maybe that is Mrs. Horton needs just a little bit of a break. Maybe she needs to rediscover her love for educating. So finding some professional development in that way. And then communicate with the stakeholders. We know that parents are calling, they're coming to the school, they're concerned, and so visiting with them. The implementation, obviously meet with the parents, meet with Mrs. Horton, meet with the superintendent possibly, or communicate about the situation. And to create the improvement plan, which a lot of it I feel like will be observable, based on the actions that we're seeing from Mrs. Horton. It has really nothing, in my opinion, about her pedagogical tendencies. It's more about, observable her social interactions with the students. Check the counselor schedule, make sure there may be a time that we could get something in place there, and then maybe find some abuse, professional development of some sort. Like I said, maybe a workshop of some kind, something to just help reinvigorate Mrs. Horton and get her back on the right track professionally. Promoting the success of all students, talking through these issues during collaboration. And like I said, if this is a male student or a male teacher, I would like to meet with them and possibly personally, at a restaurant or something, and just talk things out. And if it's a female educator, maybe setting up kind of a mentor program or kind of a buddy system, and where maybe they can just meet and just talk about personal issues if Mrs. Horton is willing to just unload some things, because if it sounds like that's kind of the root of the cause. And so if we can get the personal stuff kind of hashed out, then maybe we can start to tackle some of these professional issues. We'll visit about the walkthroughs, because I feel like the walkthroughs would be because this is observable, that would be the best way to evaluate Mrs. Horton. Communicate with these concerned parents. Let them know that there are steps being taken to resolve this issue. And then whether it just be through casual conversation with the students, let them know that they're cared for. If there's been some abuse and some berating going on, the students need some lifting up, just to let them know that they're very important and they're the reason that we're here. For me, to debrief, I'm concerned for my staff, for Mrs. Horton, personally, that she gets the things that she needs to get right at home, right. Personally for her kids, that they are, okay through this time. And then professionally, because we are having trouble kind of bridging that gap, and so making sure that she is still giving the students what they need. But I'm optimistic with the things going forward, with the walkthroughs and observing the improvement plan that we will set in place, that things will get resolved. And through the communication as well, because I feel like communication is big. And then I'm really happy with the connected parents that we have in our district. They're calling in, they're phoning, and I know they're complaining, but they're connected and they're wanting what's best for their kids. And so I want to use that as a strength, because it's better, in my opinion, than an apathetic parent, or sets of parents that just don't really care what's going on at the school. And so they do, and that's important. Issues that are unresolved. Will the support that we putting in place, is it going to work? Are the parents on board with the steps that we're taking? And is there any more personal help needed? Like I said, like a buddy system or a mentor system, if there's not one in place, to help Mrs. Horton out. Component 1, promoting the academic success, getting into the classroom, initiating those walkthroughs, and starting that improvement plan for Mrs. Horton, and really helping the kids get back on track, and helping Mrs. Horton get back on track, so that she can not be distracted or unfocused during classroom time. And then visiting with those parents that are concerned, and let them know that we do have their kids in mind. They are the central focus of this, making sure that the parents know that that we will do our best to rectify this situation. To promote the personal well-being of the students, the counselor or the human resource officer, we want to use them to help the teacher, so the teacher can help the students, kind of in that trickle-down effect. With the walkthroughs, to provide kind of a feeling of safety for the students, so they know that there's adults in there that are wanting to help and that have them in mind. And then visiting with the students, being positive with them, talking with them about the situation as much as we can, and letting them know that we're working to get this right, and that we're working to make the school a really great place for them. And then to enhance instructional capacity, following through with this improvement plan, and ensuring accountability for the parties involved. Again, reassuring the parents that there are steps being taken, and that we plan to carry them out, so that this problem is solved. Hopefully, through our improvement plan, we don't take steps backwards. That would involve talks of termination. But we do want to get this solved, and we want the parents to be involved in the process. And then we want to give support. I want to give support to Mrs. Horton, to the teacher, to get her personal life taken care of, so that she can be the best teacher that she possibly can be for our district. Thank you. It has been a wonderful semester. I have enjoyed learning with all of you, and I wish you success in other classes that you have, or if you're graduating, good luck in what's to come.